Hi, this is Wendy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about basically how I see things. In my mind's eye, I guess. I've been doing this quite a long time, and I think I've tried everything. That who am I? Why am I? What is my purpose? Has helped me to rise above many different misdirections in my life. And I've come to, after a long, bumpy, amazing road, to the conclusion that I have very few true beliefs, but a whole lot of ideas, which can change from time to time because I would believe something. And I would read everything that I could find. I was just so fascinated and so determined to find the why. Why? And it just came to the point where I had to find my way of sitting still. And instead of asking, to sit still and to listen. And that's just basically what I see is this is for everybody. What I do isn't special. We all have a third eye. It's a muscle. And we all have one now. In the work that I do, some people I see their third eye is bright. And of course, that purple attached to the Kundalini, we're all ninth dimensional. Wonderful connection. Others, it's kind of like a lump of coal. And some is kind of like a petrified wood. Right? And this is all in the development of the connection or the blocks that are around them. And because everything comes from within. Everything. Basically, the kingdom of God is within, so is the state of hell. It's up to us which we choose, because positive and negative, that's what we're made out of. And of course, that universe energy, God, the source, whatever you want to call it, that's where we need to connect. This is where we have to learn to sit in it, in between the positive and the negative, walking in between. And how do you do that? Well, I'm still trying to find out most days, just like everybody else. But one thing I do know is I have to raise my vibration. I cannot listen to the babble that goes on in our head every moment that ever was. There's not really any time and space. And that's something I've learned the very hard way when I do this work. There's really, it's just not our concept of time or space anyway. What there are is moments. And every moment that ever was, that's always going to be there. And every moment that ever will always be there. Well, here's the kicker. We're also dimensional. So when you get into the complexity and getting into the information highways to find out information of future or present, it's all done in moments. And one of our biggest blocks, one of our biggest downfalls is we get stuck in moments. We have an emotion that becomes its own entity by if you had listened to my first video, the entities or antimatters, or I call them slugs, that attach to our emotions. And this is it. Everything starts spiritually first. Everything. We're third dimensional. We cannot manifest in the third dimension, so we need that positive and negative. So as powerful as our angels are, so are our demons, and that's for everybody. And like I said, that connection is supposed to be there, that spine of God, and we're supposed to kind of live in a balance there. But if you have a positive thought, then a positive thing will happen. If you have a negative thought, then a negative thing will happen. And there's something off on the negatives, kind of, sort of. Because when you have a negative thought, that every thought has an emotion. And because everything starts spiritually, then it becomes mental, then it becomes emotional, and then it becomes physical. That mental thought, with the emotion that's attached to it, that'll become attached to by the crawlers. And that will become its own entity, that emotion. And that, in that moment, it just becomes its own entity. And that's the babble that you hear when you're sitting there and and there's, 15 years ago something's happened and every morning you wake up with that babbling at you. It is you, but it's not within you anymore. It is an emotion attached to something else, which is what's ruling our world right now. And our own emotions becoming their own entity, and they don't shut up. And all around us, everything that's ever happened, every emotion that we have ever had on a thought, because every thought that we have is an action and has to have a reaction. So most of our thoughts are out there, and if they're positive, then there's not much problem there, because positive and negative cannot flow together. So whatever there, and if you can do a positive, gratitude is one of the most powerful positive energies that we can manifest. Unconditional love, well, we're not very unconditional, are we? But gratitude is extremely powerful. So if you can sit down in a moment and open your heart with gratitude for anything, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it is a moment that you are completely grateful with an open heart, that positive energy can raise your vibration in that moment for miracles to happen. Because we can't be Mary Poppins all the time, especially a lot of our circumstances, but we have to at some point find something during the day that makes us feel good and happy and positive, something that we are grateful to have in our lives. And any of us is born in the side of the world that I'm on, we are extremely privileged to be where we are. And our free will is fairly, well, as free as we're all going to be, right? We're very, 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 I'm very grateful to have born where I am born. And my world was a whole lot different growing up than it is now. And for the last 30 years, though, it's accelerated to the point where if we don't do something about this, if we don't stand up and raise our vibrations, then there won't be much turning point. There won't be much positive left. And this has to come from within. Because like I said, the kingdom of God is within, so is the state of hell. And what you put in it, what you put in your thoughts. So when you get that repetitive negative thought of whatever happened, when you get the repetitive babble in your head and you listen to it, and you take the time just to listen to it, then you're feeding it, you're making it, that's your block. Positive and negative can't flow together, and if you're going to start your day off or end your day off in that state, then it's really impossible for what our angels, that's the best words to describe, our angels would like to manifest for us, or to help us to manifest for ourselves. Because when we want, it's already there. What we need is already there. Always. The bridges are already there. Truly, it's up to us to turn and put the footbridges down and to acknowledge it first, and to know, and then to shut up. Right? And put the stone bridges down to it. Truly, most of the time, our own blocks are us in some way, shape, or form. And I know that seems like, for many years I used to say, I did not choose my life. Fuck you. right? But as I, come of a certain age and certain wisdom, I realized that everything that was placed before me, once I had that freedom to roam about myself, I really did, in some way, shape, or form, draw it to me. And once you can take responsibility for yourself, you can't take responsibility for him, or for her, or for that, or for it. But once you take responsibility for yourself, and in that, find your method to just choose to be happy somehow, then you're raising your vibration. And once you can raise your vibration, then things will improve. Once you raise your vibration into a positive and negative can't flow together. You cannot think negative thoughts and get anything positive out of it. If you're looking for the right person in your life, if you spend all your time thinking about what you don't want in that partner, that's exactly what you'll get. If you're thinking all the time that you are poor and you're broke and you have no money and you don't have this and you don't have that, that's basically what you're going to get the rest of your life. Now, everywhere you go, there any motivational talks, they're telling you that you have to think positive. Well, you do. You have to stop the negative. You have to find your method of disconnecting. Because this I do know. Whatever it is that is there that uses us, that creates what's in our head, all the depression in the world, like I said, everything starts spiritually, then it becomes mental, then it becomes emotional, and then it becomes physical. And that physical is the cancers, all the diseases, all illnesses is attached to an emotion that has been attached to by this negative entity. Don't have a name for them. I don't think I want to name them. I really don't. I don't even have a name for a lot of things, right? Because there's power in names and I just don't want to know. And don't need to know because it doesn't belong in the energy that I work in. So if you can, every time you get any kind of negative anything, every time you slip into the past, that is your block. So every time you think something negative about whatever it is in your life that needs to be improved, whatever it is you need to find your happy, and if you think about it, you have to think about what you want and in gratitude, and then you have to be quiet. And it's the art of being quiet that's the hardest. But you can find your method. There's all sorts of methods. Yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, all different groups, all different things. This is the dawning of an age of Aquarius. There are many, many, many of us awakening and more to come. So many of our children are just wonderful beings, far older than us, right? Star seeds, crystal children, all, different roots than we are because we're just not doing a very good job. So if we can raise our vibrations to the point where they can finish the job that we start, this will make a huge difference. And truly, God is love, and love is kindness. And if everything we did was just kind, especially to ourselves, the rest is just shit we make up. So be kind to each and everything that comes to you, and especially to yourself. And this will bring a huge shift in your vibration. Thank you for listening.